Okay, so here we are in processing, and well, the first thing that I want to do is I'm just going to hit this run button right here, and it gave us our default sketch window. Okay, and anyway, let's go ahead and add something to that window. So I'm going to type in line, open parentheses, 15, comma, 25, comma, 70, comma, whoops, 70, comma, and 90, close parentheses, semicolon. Okay, now you're going to be repeating this same syntax over and over again through processing, all right? So, yeah, separating your values by commas, closing everything out with semicolons. Okay, let's go ahead and run the sketch. And we've drawn a line, okay? Now, how this works is we have drawn a line from 15 pixels in along the x-axis. Remember, 0 is right here, okay? So 15 in on the x, 25 down on the y-axis, okay? X-axis, y-axis, 0 right here. Okay, and then the other two values for line, anyway, represent the coordinates for this side of the line. Okay, so this point right here is 70 pixels in along the x and 90 pixels down along the y. Okay, so that's how you draw in processing. So let's go ahead and, let's change the size of it and change the background. I'm going to go ahead and just delete all of that. And we'll go ahead and add some more to our program here. So I'm going to change the size of our window. So I just type in size, and let's do 400 pixels by 400 pixels. Okay, notice that even though we're doing the size of the sketch window now, that syntax is the same of open and close parentheses, values separated by commas, and closing with a semicolon. Okay, and again, you can actually find this in the reference. Okay, let's go ahead and run the sketch. Oops. And now we have a 400 pixel by 400 pixel sketch window. Okay, so that's cool. Let's go ahead and change the color. So I'm going to just type in background, all right? And background, and I'm going to type in the RGB value of 192, 64, and 0, close parentheses, and semicolon. And let's run the sketch. Okay, there we go. So, we are using the RGB color mode, and by default in processing you can use RGB color mode. Now you can set it to other color modes, but so you have a few different choices here for colors, or to enter colors in using the RGB color mode. And if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, please check the tutorial video on RGB color mode, okay? And that's available in the principlesofinteractivemedia.com site. Okay, so you can enter in, let's see, 0, okay, one value, and if you enter in one value, you are working in grayscale, and you have a range between 0 and 255. So 0 is actually black, okay? So that's the way it works in RGB color. The absent of red, green, and blue actually makes black. So if you set that to 0, it is black. Now, with one value, you can only work in grayscale, and so if I set it up to its maximum value here, of 255 and run the sketch, it'll be white, okay? Just like when we combine red, green, and blue and we get white, you can actually do that here by setting two more values in here. So 255, this is the red now, this is the green, and this is the blue because we are in RGB color mode, okay? And if I run that, it's still going to be white because it's a pure red, pure green, and pure blue primary colors in RGB color mode when combined make white, okay? And again, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, check the video we have on RGB. But let's go back to that earth tone that I had there. So I'm going to go 192, okay, 64, and 0, okay? And let's run that sketch again. Okay, there we go. So let's go ahead and draw the line back in. Okay, we have more room to work with because we have a larger sketch window now. So we can actually go 150 by 25 for the first point of the line. And then let's go 270 along the x-axis and 350 along the y-axis for the right side of the line. Okay, close it with a semicolon, and let's run the sketch. Okay, there we go. So we have a black line now. And by default, it's drawn as black. Now, if I want to change the color of it, we use stroke. Okay, and a way to remember that is we use stroke in Photoshop or in Illustrator when we want to put, you know, the outline around our lettering, right? You just turn on the stroke effect. Okay, we're working with the same thing right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in stroke, all right? And I'm going to go ahead and put in 255, and again, that's going to make it white. So now we have a white line. Okay, there's our white line, okay? And if I want to make it red, I can add 3 values in here and jump into being able to use the full RGB color mode here. And so I have a full red, I have no green and no blue. So let's go ahead and run that. And we have a red line. Okay, but you can't see it as well. So let's go ahead and set it back to a white. Okay, so there's our first basic program in processing. In just 4 lines of code, we were able to take over the size of the processing sketch window, draw a line, change the stroke color of this line, and change the background. Okay, and so what I'm going to do though is stop this video now and move on to the next one, and we'll start animating.